My friends, welcome to the Beyond podcast. Today, I want to be serious. I want to show you the man behind the microphone. Many of you ask me about my life, how I decided to start a YouTube channel, what was my story before as a monk, even way before, from the darkness into the light. I spent a couple of months, almost 2 years in prison. When I was a teenager, I was completely intoxicated my whole life, already on my spiritual path, looking for something higher, looking for something divine, but didn't know where to look. So I used intoxication to fill the gap, to fill the hole within. Many of my friends nowadays, they don't live anymore. Many of them died, maybe even up to 30 people. I saw death everywhere. I saw ignorance, intoxication, darkness, criminal people, prison, all these things we are so afraid in life was surrounded by them. But now I'm on a different point. Since the last almost 15 years, I follow the path of bhakti, the path of love and devotion, bhakti yoga, to understand who I am, that I'm not the body, that I'm not the mind, that I don't have a soul, that actually I am the soul, I'm the consciousness within, having a physical human experience, having a body like a car, like a vehicle, and having the mind, the thoughts, the feeling, the willing, but what ultimately is not me. But all these experiences before, to be a monk, to be in jail, to be surrounded by all these dark forces, was so important, was so crucial, and I'm thankful for every moment, because this helped me now to be the best version of myself. Today, I don't want just talk about what I learned or what I heard, what I read, what other people told me. Today, I would like to share my own personal realization, my own path to spiritual enlightenment. I'm not there yet. I'm still on the way. But in this life, my astrologer told me I already lived 2 to 3 lifetimes. And I can totally agree. What I experienced in that short lifespan of 36 years was quite thrilling, exciting, depressing, challenging. I went through lots of difficult situations, lots of fear, lots of pain, lots of tears. Especially the time in jail and the withdrawals and finding my way out of this devil's circle, never ending, the never ending wheel. Now in Sanskrit we say the samskara, the wheel of birth, death, old age and disease. But this wheel happened to me my whole life. I could never stop, I could never end this cycle of pain and suffering. Till I met a monk. And this monk gave me the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was the first book. I read many books about all kinds of cultures, traditions, spiritual practices. But the Bhagavad Gita was the book which really influenced me, which really helped me to understand who is God, who am I, and what is my relationship to Him. When I was young, I loved the story of Moses. I could hear the story all the time. I watched the movies of Moses every Christmas time. I asked my teachers, can you tell me the story of Moses again? I was very attracted to Moses. It was very beautiful. And I wanted to go deeper in Christianity. But my parents didn't allow me fully to be religious, or, they were somehow resistant. So I was raised by my mother and my grandparents. My father I almost never met. He had different various wives and children with, not the way I chose, but I respect him and I'm also grateful because I choose this family because of my past karma. I had some actions and reactions and desires in previous life. So divinity gave me a body in this life where I can get the same karmic reactions to grow, because karma is all about growing. Maybe you always have the same experience, the same loved one always betrays you, or the same constellation in your job or with your friends, your family. And it happens again and again because we don't learn the lesson. We can't move on. So karma is not a bitch. Karma is actually here to help us. Karma is the mercy of God, that we understand everything we do has consequences. There's no some destiny written in stone and this needs to happen to you. You can blame no one else for your misery, even if you are born in a very difficult situation. And I don't want to talk it down now, but this is because we need to learn something. We harmed others. We created the circumstances we are now. And if we understand this point, then we become free. Then we grow. And then life will be much easier because we understand there's a higher force and we are very tiny. But we are part of this higher force. And God, divinity, wants us to strive, to grow, to fulfill our desires, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to contribute to society. It's all about love. Our mindset now is based on fear. My life was full of fear. In my times in the grounding school, I always looked for some higher pleasure. I always looked for God, love, divinity. But somehow nothing in this world could give me that joy, this satisfaction. And I was only 6 years old. I tried my first cigarette. Of course, we stopped at that point. But then when I was 13, we started smoking, drinking. A few months later, I smoked my first joint. 13-year-old small little boy. When I was 14, some of my friends, they were already older, they started with ecstasy. And I was very scared. I was very worried about myself because my mother always told me, I hope you never take drugs. You're always with the wrong people. And she put all this fear on me. And then when I was 14, right before I turned 15, before I ended high school, I started taking chemical drugs, ecstasy. And it was beautiful. I was, first time in my life, I experienced this divine love. I mean, I thought at that point it was divine love. But I experienced this higher taste in life. And I promised myself only one time and never again. And on my whole trip, I said this to everyone. It's wonderful, but only today, never again. Next day I woke up, I was like, wow, this was the best thing ever. But I don't want to do it again. After 2 days, what happened? I did it again and again and again. I almost couldn't finish high school. I made it out of high school in July. From July till October was the most intense time in my life. The people around me were going completely mad and crazy about selling drugs and expanding their business and taking all kinds of shit. And even myself, when I turned 15, someone offered me my first dose of heroin. I was not injecting it, but still. And then I started using heroin with 15, just turned 15. This lasted for a couple of months. In November, I went to jail for the first time, just for 2 weeks. But still, many of my so-called friends, they mentioned my name and we were selling drugs. And so I went to jail with 15 and I was crying like anything. First time in my life, I was really praying. Police told me, you will get at least 2 years, but probably 10. Better you tell us the truth. I was so scared I couldn't tell the truth. Later on, I discovered it was the best choice ever. But still, I was in this environment, in prison, 15 years old, wanted to enjoy, explore life, and they tell me 10 times your birthday, 10 times Christmas. And this time it was all about celebration, fun, parties, meeting your friends, having birthday parties, whatever. I couldn't breathe. I was crying hours and hours. I thought my life will be over. After 2 weeks, I had my first hearing. My boss came from my workplace. He told me I can work at this place again. And so all the circumstances were nice. I told him I will do therapy and I will stop with everything. So after 14 days, they let me out till my court case. And they told me probably I will not have to come back into the jail if I keep my job. So I went out, and instead of changing my life, everything became worse. Because when I went to jail for 2 weeks, I realized it's not so bad. All my friends were in jail. We had drugs in jail. We had free time all the time. We had a television on the cell, on the room. So somehow I felt like in Austria, Germany, it's more like holidays. Yeah, of course you're like completely isolated from society, and it was really weird because I was in the middle of everything, All my friends were around me, but I was completely on a different planet. Prison is nothing you can imagine or compare. It's a completely different world with different rules, and you are isolated and like an animal. You have no rights, you have nothing to say, and you can really train your tolerance and your patience because you only have to wait for your food, 6 o'clock in the morning, 11:15, lunch. At 4 o'clock, you go for a walk for 1 hour, you come back, you have your dinner, then you wait for evening movie at 8:15, you watch till 10, you go to bed, and again, and again. If you're lucky, you get some activity, you get some job, get some income. But otherwise, it sucks. You have nothing to do the whole time. So they released me after 2 weeks. Everyone was thinking, oh, he came out, he will change his life. Now he will take care and will not do stupid things anymore and goes to study and work and whatsoever. But what actually happened inside the prison was I met more criminal people. I got more contacts, more connections. I got more convinced that what I'm doing is the right way to live. Because I was thinking, how can people live their life without intoxication? I mean, met people in the parties, in the clubs, they were just drinking alcohol, sometimes not even that. I couldn't comprehend how can someone live in this world without intoxication. I was so convinced the key to life is to get drugged. I mean, how crazy. With 15, my whole life was about being on ecstasy, being in joy, being in harmony, being in balance. Back there, I thought, that's my harmony, that's my peace. Nowadays, I didn't touch a drug for 15 years. I'm clean and I experience much deeper levels of consciousness and ecstasy than ever before. Because we can get high on our own supply. We just connect within. So I came out of jail. 3 months later, something happened and I went again to jail. And again and again and again. Altogether 4 times, almost 24 months. The last time I went to jail, I already received a book from a monk on the street, the Bhagavad Gita, and I decided to become a monk. I was so attracted to the Hare Krishna movement because I could see they're authentic, they are happy, they have knowledge, they experience God on a daily basis. There was nothing I could compare to. So I wanted to become like them. But then some court case came up, was something 2 years before that, and I had to go to jail again. But I was very lucky and I only got 3.5 months because the judge saw I want to change my life, I want to become a monk. And the judge said, because you did the crime and you're honest and you want to become a monk and you just had a withdrawal, you stopped with the drugs, we only charge you as a teenager. Because I was around 23 and it happened when I was 21. So I was not on the end of 21, so they could still judge me as a non-adult, as a teenie kind of, yeah. So they gave me 3.5 months, the lowest I could get. In the court case, I was praying to Krishna, I was praying to God, please help me, I want to be your devotee, I want to change my life, please help me, please help me. And it really worked. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, I came out after 3.5 months and it was the appearance day of Lord Krishna. When Krishna descended on this earth 5,000 years ago, we celebrated every year. And on that day, they released me. So I went immediately to the temple and became a monk. And then 2-3 years before that, I was also in jail. And I was spoken innocent because the witness on the last day, he decided to change his mind and he spoke the truth. And I went out after 4.5 months. I was considered innocent and they paid me money. On the day before the court case, I was also told I have to stay at least 3 to 5 years. I was so convinced there was no way out and I was praying to God. I told him, I'm ready. I want to be your servant. Please help me to come out. I will change my life. And it worked. I came out. Like unbelievable. My lawyers, nobody believed what happened. I was a free man, could leave the prison. I came out. I met my friend in front of the prison. He waited there for me. And the first thing I asked him, do you have something to smoke? I just prayed. I want to change my life. God intervened took me out, and I just say, screw you, I do my own thing. And again, the same cycle again and again. There was no way out. Now when I look back on all this time in prison, I'm glad because I learned patience, I learned tolerance, I learned to deal with so many people. I could see the people in there, they're suffering. Most of these people, they're looking for something higher. They're not bad people. Every one of us has a small demon inside. Every one of us stole or lies or is not fully honest with his taxes. Whatever it is, we have our dark secrets. And there are people completely pure. But what I would like to say is that we are all not 100% pure. Okay, there's killing people, raping people, that's a no-go, yeah. But some things happen to really good people. I know them since my childhood. And they did one wrong thing. They were drunk and they stole something or they robbed someone and they had to go to jail for about 10 years. I mean, can you imagine to go to prison for 10 years? Your life is over. It's finished. Like, what are you going to do after 10 years of jail? For me, I'm happy. I'm glad I could make it out of it. Somehow, all these prayers, all this time of meditation, it helped. When I was the third time or the second time in jail, I was with 4 friends of mine, with 3 friends. We were in the same room, same cell. And one day another friend came, Haris, and he was a Muslim. And he talked about God the whole time. And in this time, I was actually thinking, maybe there's a God. I can't see it in my life. I'm always suffering. So I was challenging him a little bit. And Haris, he told me, okay, you believe in evolution. You say there might be no God. Okay, there was a Big Bang. I agree. I was like, yeah. But he said, where was the Big Bang coming from? Where's the universe coming from? God's creation, where's it coming from? From nothing? And I was really thinking like, that's something new. I never thought about that. Like, where everything is coming from. There must be an origin. And he called this origin God. And at that point, I could accept there's a higher force. And I could accept God in my life. I got a job as a car mechanic in the prison. Mostly we just washed the cars. But anyways. And there, I met a guy. Later, I came on his cell, in his room. And he told me about Lord Buddha, about Buddhism, the path of Buddha, the path of enlightenment. And he gave me a small book about Buddha. And when I read the book about suffering, how Buddha first time in his life, he saw suffering. His father was protecting him from reality. And then first time he came out with him, and Buddha saw all the people suffer. And then he realized there's death, there's disease. He was terrified. And this changed his whole mindset. And when I read this, it also changed mine. First time in my life I could really see the suffering I created to myself. The suffering humans create to themselves. And I decided I want to change. And when I came out of prison, I saw this movie, The Secret, about manifestation, about spiritual principles. But for me it was very material to manifest, to think about how much money you want to have. And so I couldn't fully relate to it, but it helped me at one point to go deeper, to understand my subconscious mind, my consciousness, to understand that I'm a soul, that we are all somehow connected, at a quantum field, quantum physics. So I was on a very different path. It was around when I was 16, 17. From this time, the same time I was a drug addict, I was so confused. I was between 2 worlds, left and right, the dark and the light, the good and the bad, the monk or the junkie. And I always wanted to come out of it. For 7 years, I tried. I had many withdrawals. I tried all kinds of things, therapies, and all these doctors just told me, we can't help you. You just need to accept that you're a junkie. You take your morphine, we give it to you for free from the pharmacy, and just take it till the rest of your life. Just learn to live with it. Can you imagine that? Like, what the hell? And when I came to Krishna, when I got the Bhagavad Gita, and I told them, I'm done, I want to become a monk. They said, you're not ready, we can't help you. They didn't give me any medication for my withdrawal. I had to do everything by myself, and I stopped, and it was the hardest part of my life. Then I had to go to jail again, and again I became an addict. I came out on Krishna Janmashtami, the day where Krishna descended. I went to the temple, stayed there for a couple of days. My mind was very loud and told me, why don't you go back? Yeah, I had some excuses. I went back for 2 weeks. But then after that 2 weeks, I came again to the temple and I said, okay, now I want to become a monk. I had a withdrawal in the temple for 2 weeks. I didn't tell anyone. I just told them I'm sick. It was one of the hardest experiences in my life. In the same time, I experienced so much spiritual taste, so much ecstasy from chanting, from mantra meditation, from all the programs, from all the service and the work and the association, that I could tolerate the pain. And I got so convinced about the path I'm on now. 2 weeks I was in the temple, my mother called me. One of my best friends just died. 2 months later, one of my best friends, like the best friend maybe, also died. And again, every few weeks I got a phone call. People died, overdose, heroin, car accident, mostly drugs. At least I lost 20 to 30 people. And I just become a monk. I learn about I'm not the body. There's a life after death. There's reincarnation, karma. I believed in it before. And then I see death everywhere around me. And I was really meditating. I was so fortunate that all of a sudden I have some spiritual practice. God saved me. So now it's my turn to give it back. And in the temple, it was anyways so amazing. We had 4 o'clock in the morning, we woke up. We had our morning rituals, our prayers. We play the prayers and we sing and we dance. Very dynamic and harmonious, melodious. It was so beautiful. Then after 35 minutes of morning prayers, we have japa meditation where we sit with our prayer beads, 2 hours in silence meditation where we recite the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And after that, we had a program together. We worship the Guru. We dance and chant in ecstasy. Then we have some talk about the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, some spiritual literature. At 9 a.m. we had breakfast. And then we had our daily seva. Seva means service from 10 to 4, about 6 hours with a lunch break, where we worked on the field. We grew our own vegetables. I worked with cows. I was milking the cows. I was helping in the kitchen. I learned how to clean properly, because when we clean in the outside, we also purify the inside. And in that time, were not many people living in the temple. I was most of the time alone. I had so much time to read and to go deep. And after 2-3 months, I was traveling with the monks and we drove from place to place. We were sleeping in a caravan, very simple living, on a yoga mat with sleeping bags. We had only books with us. We had some place where we could cook. We cooked our own meals every day. And we traveled from place to place all around Europe, mostly in Germany, Austria, and we distributed spiritual literature. We met many people and we went out there and we just showed them a life outside of the box. We had like mantra meditations, we came together, we had programs. We went to people's houses, we cooked their big vegetarian feast and we showed them our way of living. And it was the most blissful time in my whole life. There's nothing to compare. In the time when I became a monk, I decided to be a monk for the rest of my life. After 1-2 years, I saw maybe I can't do this forever. So I said, okay, I want to do 5 to 10 years. At least 5, maximum 10. And then in 10 years, I can see what is my path. After 3-4 years, I could see I struggled with some desires and the other gender. And I became more attracted again to women. And I thought it's all over. I was a druggie, a junkie. I was in jail. I experienced life. I had my job, my work, my girlfriends. So I thought I'm done. But deeply inside, maybe we change in the outside. Maybe artificially for some time we can renounce everything. But what is inside, it will grow and will come out again. We can't run away from it. So then my mentor told me, okay, you've been a monk for 5 years. Now it's time for you to move on. Get married, become a family man. And use these teachings you learned as a monk in your family life. And this is why I'm here today. To share with others, because if I'm a monk, yeah, it's easy to be a monk. You're with the same people, you're protected, you're inspired, enthusiastic, you have your program. But if you're on yourself, if you're with your family, this is the real test. Then you can really show what you learned and how deeply you're rooted in your spiritual practice. And I was very resistant. I thought like it's kind of a fall down to get entangled now, getting married and indulge in sex. And yeah, there was some fear and some resistance. But when I became open to the idea to change, I talked with my spiritual teacher and he told me, tell me your plan. First he said, I think it's better you stay a monk. Yeah, you just did 5 years, maybe do another 2 years. You can contribute to humanity so much more, and for your own spiritual life, it's so much better. And he is usually a person, when you ask him, should I get married? He say, decide for yourself. So I was counting on that. And when I asked him about my life, he told me to stay monk, and my bubble just exploded. I was like, no, I really want to change. But in the evening he called me and he said, yeah, he could see I'm struggling and it's time to move on. And he just told me, okay, what's your plan? So I told him my plan. I told him I want to change my ashram. Ashram means shelter. Yeah, I was a monk. I had this saffron robes, orange color. And I told him I just want to change, like not wear these saffron colors anymore, but still stay in the same mindset and still live in the temple and slowly see which way I want to go, because at that point I didn't know what will be my path, which way I have to go. I already practiced pranayama and yoga since about 10, 11 years, every day, but not so much. And I was not a teacher. I was not on that level like I am now. So in this point, I was not thinking about teaching pranayama. I was more into pranic healing, energy healing. And then I encountered two healers. I mean, they don't call themselves healers, but they are healers. And they told me, if you want to heal people, first you have to work on yourself. There's so many demons inside, so much bad influence from the outside. First you have to purify yourself. First work on yourself. Otherwise, how can you help someone if you can't help yourself? So then my healing journey started on myself. In that journey, took 1 year. I was looking already for a woman in my life and getting married and couldn't find the right person. 2018, I met my wife in India on a pilgrimage, and I knew her from before, but I was a monk, so I couldn't really engage with her. And I liked her. She was from the same spiritual master. We have the same teacher in our life. I liked her as a friend. And we met there, and she's very attractive. I was attracted to her, but it was more like a friendship. I thought I'm into someone else actually in this time, but was not the real person. And this person actually told me, a real relationship you will see, it's not about who looks the best, who has the most money, and about sex and whatever. And it's more about friendship, because if the pink glasses fade, yeah, if reality hits, if you get married, you move together, and you're in real life, all what counts is deep friendship. Yeah. So, and I felt like with my wife, I have this deep friendship, and I felt like, what else do I want? And we talked on the phone, and somehow I felt like, okay, it's friendship, but somehow there's an attraction from both sides, and we like the same movies and the same style and the same people, and we were really similar. I told her, I sent her a voice note actually, because she was not picking up the phone. On that day I wanted to tell her, it was 10 o'clock in the evening, so I decided, okay, I send her a voice note now. And then she called me right after the voice note, and she didn't listen to it. And I told her, please listen to the voice note again. I can't just explain the whole thing from beginning. And she listened, and she felt the same. And we actually did some Vedic astrology, and we looked if our charts are matching, if we have the same interest, and if our karma allows us to be together, just to be sure. And it was perfect. We asked our spiritual guides, our friends, and everyone was happy and gave blessings. So we got married very fast after 5-6 months. And my wife, I'm not just saying this to please her or to please you. She's really special. She's a doctor. I'm a chunky monk. She's a medical doctor. She's a completely different background. Yeah, there was no way ever I thought a doctor will marry me. But she really could see who I really am. Yeah, all the love, all the devotion, all the kindness, all the spiritual depth I carry with me. She saw only this. She didn't care about my doctor degree I never had, that I'm a lawyer or dentist or whatever. She just cared about me as a person, and she supported me from day one. Even now, we have our difficulties, we have our fights, everyone has. But we can always talk. We can always talk it out. She can tell me what is wrong, I can tell her. Without her, I would not be here today. She was the one who inspired me to start this channel. She is the one who inspired me in everything in my life. She gave me the strength. Nothing I have comes from me. She's behind all of this. Yeah. She gave me two beautiful children. Yeah. She helped me to see in this world love goes much deeper than we think. She helped me to be on my spiritual path. In my greatest difficulties, when I almost fall back into old habits, she was the one who gave me strength and believed in me. And even today, I'm just grateful that I have her in my life. In other podcasts, I will also invite her and interview her. I can share everything with her, literally. Tell her all my secrets, and I tell her everything I believe and all the craziness. And she's also the same crazy as me. We are on the same level. And it's so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So I moved to South Africa. She's Indian background from South Africa. So I moved to South Africa for legal papers to get married. And then we got stuck in COVID. So we couldn't leave the country for a long time. I think 2020 we moved back to Germany. My wife was pregnant, and we decided actually to move in the temple where I lived as a monk. Because it was COVID and we have agriculture, we have our own vegetables, and there was no mask and no COVID. So everything was kind of safe. 2 days before we were flying to Germany, someone called me and told me, don't come, COVID came and everyone is sick and you can't come. And I said, no, I booked the tickets. It took us months to get the visa, to get out of the country. We have to come. We can't don't come, you know. And in this time, we were very healthy and we had some energy routine, which helped us to never get sick. For 2 years, we never catch the cold. We were not sick at all. So we said, no. We go there and we believed we will be healthy. And we arrived there and we were the only two people who never got sick. So then I moved to the temple again and got involved. And also over the years, I never mentioned, but I became a really qualified cook. I never liked cooking and I don't know what I'm doing till now. But somehow everyone loves my cooking. It's not my nature, but I'm an artist. I like dancing and music and beauty. And cooking is a form of expression, of expressing this art. Making YouTube videos is my expression of art. So I ended up in the kitchen and cooked every day for 6 times a week. We have their service every day almost. Once a week you have a free day for 4 to 6 hours, but then we have also our morning programs, evening programs. You're so fully engaged in spiritual life. The best place to raise a child, because the spiritual atmosphere is everywhere. After some time though, I could see that I want to teach, I want to give knowledge, and I want to live outside of the temple. I felt like I want to create a business, I want to be in flow, contribute to society, and I'm still being involved in the temple management and cooking there and be there for festivals. But I felt now it's time to take care of my family, to take care of my own spiritual practice and to share it with people online and to help people to work with me on a one-to-one basis. I created my school community where we come together every week. We have Zoom meetings where we can share our insights, where we can learn and grow together as a community. And I have YouTube where there's everything for free, where I can give as much as I can to also help people to go deep in the spiritual practice. More I'm doing this actually for me, for my own spiritual growth, because everything I'm telling you right now, at one point, I need to have a realization about it, and talking about it helps me to ingrain this knowledge deeply into my psyche, into my body. First you hear, then you talk about it, and then you remember it. I actually loved South Africa. I could have stayed there forever, but I think it's dangerous there a little bit. And to raise a family, Germany was the better choice, even though the weather is not that beautiful like South Africa. Yeah, there's so much to say as my time as a monk, my time in the temple, but I believe that I will give you space to share it in another video. I wanted to focus on the other part. Yeah, I became a monk, my story about prison and jail, and there's so much more depth to it I can't share in half an hour, 45 minutes. But on this journey, on my spiritual path, I started practicing deeply pranayama, yeah, the science of breathwork. In yoga, we have the asanas, we have the rules, the regulations, we have pranayama, breath control, meditation, samadhi. I started my pranayama, my breathwork journey because I was snoring. Then I had bad digestion, so people recommended to me. And one friend told me, Vladimir, who is very famous on YouTube, he has millions of followers in Russian language. He only shows his knowledge in Russia. And he showed me breathwork, I think 2015 or something, 2014. And since that, I practice what he taught me. And 2-3 years ago, I told him about it, and he couldn't even remember. Yeah, he is the one who introduced me. He's my first teacher. Then I followed on YouTube. I did the Wim Hof course and read his books. And breathwork was all about energizing and feeling the kick and the high for many years. And that created more disturbance, more rush, more impatience. Till I met Michael Biker, one beautiful teacher from the Life Awareness Project. I did some courses with him, and he really taught me that breathing is all about slowing down the breath, because the breath and the mind are connected. In pranayama, we want to control the mind, enter into the present moment, relax the body, and experience the beauty of the here and now, experience the beauty of ourself. And then I combined deep breathing techniques with slower, more relaxing breathing techniques. I created my own style of meditation, of helping people to go deeper in the spiritual practice. And I started teaching in my temple in the beginning on YouTube. And the response was amazing. I got so amazing feedback. People transformed, and they were so grateful that I'm offering this service. So at one point, people wrote me, hey, can I work with you? And you do some private sessions. And this is when my business started, actually, that I thought, hey, I have so much to give. I have so much my own realization and practice. And now I can even share it with people and help them to come on the same platform and on the same time earn a living. And now I can just do what I love to do. I love to meditate every day. I love to breathe every day. I love to share it. And now I can combine my spiritual life with my material life, with my emotional life, with my family life. Everything is in harmony. But it was a long journey out of the drugs, into the prison, becoming a monk, getting married. Now I have 2 beautiful children, the most amazing children. I think every parent will say the same. But I'm just in love with them. They really, it's like looking at myself, but in a cute version. And one is a boy, one is a girl. And yeah, it's really opening the heart. And the journey goes deeper and deeper. And many people ask me, how do you manage to practice? How do you manage with family to read? Yeah, and it's possible. We can make the time. Go to bed a little bit earlier. Wake up earlier. Find your time. If something is important for you, you will make the time. Maybe work 1 hour less or 2 hours. Find a different job. Situate yourself that you can really be true to yourself. What are your values? What is your purpose in life? How can you contribute? How can you serve? What are your hobbies? What do you love? What do you like? How can you spend more time with your family? Ask yourself what you want. Most people don't know actually what they want in life. If you ask yourself truly, what do I want? Am I satisfied with what I have? Is there more to life? What would I like to give to my family? And these questions I had to ask myself. I had other teachers who asked me, hey, Advaita, what do you want? And I actually didn't know. I never thought about it. As a monk, I learned we don't want anything. Suppress all desires and just pray. God will provide. What is true. But also there were so many desires I couldn't express for many years because I thought desires are bad. But in our spiritual tradition, it is said, the symptom of the soul is a desire. If you have no desire, means you're dead. So desires are good. But the question is how to engage the desire. In material things or in spiritual things. If we focus on spiritual things, then the desires get transcended. We still fulfill them, we still get satisfied, but maybe on the way we lose the taste, we realize we don't need it actually to be fulfilled. And we get purified and transcend to a higher state of consciousness. So people ask me, what do you work? Then I said, I'm teaching yoga, breathwork, meditation, and it sounded so boring. Yeah. And then I thought about it. Okay, find my niche. Yeah. Position myself. My channel is called Atma Flow. Atma means the body, mind, the soul, and the flow of life, being in the flow state. Then I thought, actually, I'm helping people with the body, with their mind, with themselves as spiritual being, the soul, yeah, the Atman, the self, to be more in flow, to be more in the present moment. And then I thought, I'm a flow state coach. Yeah, and now people ask me, hey, what do you do? Then I tell them, I'm a flow state coach. Flow state coach, wow, that sounds amazing. What is a flow state coach? I'm working healing your chakras, bring in more harmony, experience more pleasure, more love from within, abundance, fulfillment, more flow, more present moment. Okay, how do you achieve that? With yoga, meditation, breath work, mindset. Yeah, so it's a complete different expression of what I'm doing instead of breathwork coach. Okay, there are many breathwork coaches, but what are you doing exactly, specifically? I help you to enter into the flow. And this YouTube channel is all about that, to be in the flow of life. The podcast beyond the same principles, go beyond the mind, beyond the body, beyond the conceptions of reality, and be in the present moment. Experience yourself, who you truly are, and be in the flow of divinity. Be in the flow of life. Later on now, I decided to create a school group. School is a platform von Alex Samosi bought now, where we can create my own community like Facebook, but I create the rules. I invite the people. We create a platform where we can share, transform, and grow spiritually. The group is called Flow State Mastery. If you like to join, you find the link in the pinned comment below and in the description. And I would really like to see you there. If you took the time now to watch this video till the end, then you are ready. Please join me. I want to show you the life of flow. On YouTube it's nice, but I'm not 100% myself because I'm talking to a camera. On Zoom, it's already 50% more flavor. If you work with me in one-to-one, I can really open up. But at least, if you can join the school, I would be so pleased and thrilled and excited to see you in this community. And if you don't like it, you can always leave it. But I'm sure there's something in it for you. Why I'm here, I want to serve. I want to do what I like to do the most. To share it with humanity. To share it with you. And to help myself to really imbibe, to really tap into the frequency of my highest self and to let it out into the world. Because every one of us is unique, every one of us is special, every one of us is the spiritual being inside. And we get told humans are not good. We release too much carbon dioxide, we pollute the air, and all kinds of these things. But nobody tells you that you're a divine being, that the body is a vessel of the soul, a vessel of God, and you have all the power within. We just need to open the eyes, and not this eyes here, talking about the eyes within, the eyes of the heart. I know there are many channels, there are many teachers, and it's all beautiful. I only can give you what I learned, and I know the pranayama sessions, especially the meditations, go very deep because I saw it myself, I experienced it myself. And when I guide you, I also go there. I try to go with you, using sound, using breath, body awareness, and together we can really enter into the flow. If you watched the video till the end, then please let me know in the comment section below. I would be really happy if I see 1 or 2 people taking up the challenge and even join our school community. And yeah, there will be many podcasts more. I didn't have anyone for this week, so I thought like, okay, I just introduced myself for so many months now. I thought like, okay, what can I do to just share my story? It was just a small part, just an overview. that you see who I am. I'm also just a human being. I have many faults and try to learn and grow. The next 2 podcasts will be very interesting, and I'm really happy to see you soon. Om Tat Sat, Namaste, and let's go beyond.